Good morning, Tara.
Good morning. Lots of eye-opening stuff over the weekend about serial killer Todd Kohlhepp. May not just have been a serial killer in the upstate, maybe in Arizona. That apparently this is fascinating. This Melissa Ponder Bragman, who was the wife, the wife in the Superbike motorsports murders. Her husband was one of those murders. Gets a phone call from Spartanburg County Sheriff's deputy saying that Kohlhepp admitted to shooting somebody in Arizona. As a profiler, does that surprise you? Do you think they're going to find a lot of bodies in Arizona?
I have no idea. I mean, he's been out there for 20 years, so he could have bodies every place. Who knows? He is a serial killer. That is a fact. So yes, as a serial killer, he could do such things. That wouldn't be surprising. So they're going to keep looking for bodies everywhere. Yes.
This was interesting to me too, and I wasn't here in the upstate for this, so I don't know a lot about it. But apparently, the wife was accused for up to a year, Melissa Ponder Bragman, of being the trigger person or being responsible for, this is according to the Greenville News, the murder of her husband, the Superbike Motorsports owner. Because of a DNA screw-up at the coroner's office? What's up with that? You investigated that case.
Well, I didn't investigate the case. I analyzed the case. I was brought in by the Spartanburg Sheriff's Office, and I reviewed the case. And yes, there was probably a false lead, what I would call a false lead. And I totally don't blame early investigators for some mistakes that they made. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. I mean, that's why it's called investigation. Profilers make mistakes too. I mean, in the sense that we look at the evidence and we try to determine what the evidence means, and we make decisions about what leads we want to follow. Some leads turn out to be not good leads. We run into brick walls, and then we have to reevaluate. That's why there's a thing called court, but when you prosecute, you have to prove at that point that there's enough evidence. So investigators are going to go down false leads. They're going to make mistakes. They might think something means something that it doesn't mean. That's being human, and that's part of investigation. So did they, go down the wrong road, perhaps? Yes. Do I think it's a terrible, horrible, horrible thing? No. But I am concerned that they're going down the correct road now, and that is the bigger problem.
And tell me, what is your concern there, Pat, as someone who's really familiar with this case?
Okay, well, I have a big concern with Kohlhepp's confession. One is that he would be confessing to a crime that serial killers have never been known to do. Another profiler, John Kelly, said, well, you'd have to come up with a new name for a serial killer that also commits a mass murder. We call him a hybrid serial killer. And it's correct. That's completely off the charts. Could he be an anomaly? Yes, but is it likely? No. The second thing is...
Wait, hold on. So you're saying, Pat, having really studied the Superbike case, you have doubts as to whether Kohlhepp actually did it?
Correct. I do have doubts. And one of the second reason I have a doubt is that he supposedly bought a motorcycle 6 months prior to the murders and got annoyed about something that happened there. But yet he doesn't do anything for 6 months. He holds his rage for 6 months and then goes in and kills 4 people. That's also completely an anomaly. But here's the real kicker. During that phone call on 48 hours, they showed that phone call that was made to Melissa Bragman by Detective LaChica. And in that phone call, it was stated that LaChica told Melissa Bragman, who was the then wife of Scott Ponder, that Kohlhepp confessed to shooting all the victims in the forehead. And that was a fact that is not known to anybody in the public. Well, it is true that there is no such fact known to the public that all the victims were shot in the forehead. And the reason for that is nobody ever was shot in the forehead. None of the victims were shot in the forehead. So where is this coming from? Why would the sheriff's office put that out there? Why would they claim Kohlhepp said that and it was true? I'm really shocked by that, and I'm concerned that they're trying to sway public opinion to believe that Kohlhepp is the killer. When there, as far as I see, there's no evidence supporting that at all.
And of course, all this came off of 48 hours, and they're reporting about this. Okay, and so they were the ones who said that the Spartanburg Sheriff's deputy said that they were shot in the head, and that's not true.
I taped the call from the sheriff. From the sheriff. Melissa Bragman taped the call from Detective LaChica, and they played part of that call, and then they stopped it, and they did not play the part where it is stated that Kohlhepp shot everybody in the forehead. But then 48 hours made that statement that was also on the phone call. I would assume they have listened to the phone call. They heard, it was taped. But I waited for days for the sheriff's office to come out and retract this. And now it's all over every place. It's on Wikipedia. It's everywhere that this is a fact. So where is the sheriff's department coming out and saying, "Oh, we never said that"? That's not true. Kohlhepp didn't claim that he shot everybody in the forehead. They've left it out there for what is almost a week now, letting the public believe that Kohlhepp said that and that it is true. But the evidence does not support that. And that's very concerning to me that this will be a claim made by the sheriff's office that all the victims were shot in the forehead and only Kohlhepp knew this, because it's simply not true.
Well, we'll invite the sheriff on the show definitely to see what he has to say about it. It's curious. You say that one of the reasons that you have doubts about Kohlhepp is that he supposedly has told authorities details of the Superbike killing case that only a killer would know. They've never been put in public. Sure. But you dispute that. You say that all of the details of the Superbike case were made public. Nothing was held back. There's some detail out there. I don't know what it is. This case has been around for 13 years. It's been made public. All kinds of stuff has been made public. The police department, the sheriff's office themselves has been all over America's Most Wanted, Geraldo. They've given all kinds of details. So it's been out there. So the thing is, could Kohlhepp know something that I don't know? I don't know that he could know something I don't know. But so far, I have not heard anything that Kohlhepp knows that is some secret thing from the case. It wasn't all that complicated. So they need to come up with some evidence, some real evidence linking that man to the case. In my opinion, he may just be a convenient patsy. The problem is, you got a guy nobody likes. Who likes Kohlhepp? He's a serial killer. He's an abhorrent human being. And he was in the area at the time this went down, and he did buy a motorbike, supposedly, from the shop. He was a customer. But there has been no proof he was truly an angry customer, that he killed these people outside of this supposed confession. I think it's just awfully convenient. Do you think Kohlhepp could be, you profiled this case, you worked this case, you know all the details of it. Do you think Kohlhepp could have made this up to get what he wants?
Why not? Well, there's a couple of reasons he can make it up. One could be that simply he likes the fame. Hey, what's not more fun than saying you killed 4 more people? You're already going down anyway. So serial killers are known to be pathological liars and love to manipulate people and see what their reaction could be. So could he just make this up? Sure, he could. Could he be encouraged to make it up? Could there be a plea bargain in effect that if he confesses to extra murders, then hey, you won't get the death penalty? And if this case doesn't go to court, where we have to see all the evidence that supports Kohlhepp committing this crime, I'd be very, very concerned. I mean, I hate to ever say that a police department is not on the up and up, but this is just...
Well, or that a serial killer isn't on the up and up either.
Oh, not surprising. No. A serial killer is never on the up and up. I mean, I don't trust a serial killer as far as I can throw him. That he could lie doesn't faze me at all. But that we should believe his lies and we should support his lies and we should say they're true without actual solid evidence, or that we should tell the public that he's telling the truth and that he knows things that only the killer could know, when quite in fact I see no evidence that that's true, or even to promote a lie that he said they shot him all in the forehead when that is not even part of the evidence. That's not true. That is concerning.
We will look into that. But what would you advise to? I mean, is there a way? How can they figure out if Kohlhepp did this? Is it possible? I mean, it doesn't seem like there was any evidence, like physical evidence, that he did it, as far as has been reported.
Correct. I mean, you have 13 years to investigate a crime. Sometimes you screw it up and you don't ever find the guy because it's too late. Sometimes the evidence is very hard to follow, and that's, you do everything you can, but you still can't find the evidence, soon enough. That's true. And sometimes cases don't get solved, or you know who did it, but you can't prosecute. That happens. And you can't always blame the police department for that. That's just the way things go. But there were problems with this case in the investigation of it, and that may be why certain people weren't on the radar, and maybe they'll never find the evidence. But to say there's evidence that there isn't, that's simply a lie to the public, and that's not doing your duty as a police department.
Well, we don't know all of what they have. Pat Brown, she was a profiler who worked on this case, took a look at it, all the details of it. So we don't know what they have yet. So I don't want to draw too many conclusions. But definitely interesting that you don't believe, based on your extensive research into this case, that Todd Kohlhepp is the guy who did the Superbike killings. It's going to make it really interesting to find out what they have, and I doubt they've told us everything that they do have. Thank you, Pat Brown, for joining us this morning on 106.3 WORD.